I think some of the concept you studied in physics also. What is refraction? What is reflection? Absorption? What is emissivity? And now, with respect to material science point of view, the most common type of optical materials are one is glass. You are familiar with the glasses, even spectacles, the glass ceramics. It may be crystals, even plastics also comes under optical material. One category is regular glass, then is glass ceramics, next is crystal, and some other example practical plastics. So now when you come to optical properties, what you listed, the optical property of the material is not only depends on the property of the material, it depends on the wavelength of the incident light, the temperature of the material, applied pressure on the material, the external electric and magnetic field applied to the material. In general, you have to remember, it is not like a mechanical properties. So it is optical properties also depending upon the different other parameters, like a wavelength, temperature, applied pressure on the material, and especially electric field and magnetic field. Your emissivity will make changes depending upon because you are a mechanical engineer, you can understand better because we are talking about the temperature. So when the temperature increases, the emissivity also increases. So suppose steel, we have the steel. So we have emissivity at room temperature, but temperature increases, the emissivity of the steel may increases because the emissivity is depending upon the activities of the atomic level. It is changes in the atomic level. So when heat is added, so atoms will get more and more energy. So it will jump into higher level in the valence bond, etc., band, etc. Then it start emitting. Light. Emission will be taking place. In general, we can say. So that depending upon not only the material properties, it also depending upon some external parameter. So now, so with respect to our material science point of view, so glass technology provided the foundation for classical optical element from the beginning, maybe from hundreds of years. The glass technology developed not recently; it is from hundreds of years. So it was the technology was there. Glass was produced. Even 500 or 1,000 years back also, there are some glasses 1,000 or 2,000 years back also. But mainly the optical elements, some of the applications of the optical element, it is used in lenses, the prisms, and filters. Filters, I think you are familiar with filters used in physics lab. It will filter out only the band of wavelength, or it may fit. I think those filters you studied in your physics lab. So now when you come to the optical property of engineering material also useful in different applications. We are talking about the applications of optical material. It may be domestic application, it may be mirror also, spectacles also, it may be medical applications. So emissivity is used in the case of X-rays, gamma rays, all of it comes under your optical properties. The astronomy, the manufacturing. So now we have like metals are however transparent to the high end frequencies. So metals you are saying that metals are opaque, but metals are not opaque to high end frequencies like gamma rays and the X-rays and gamma rays. I think you are familiar. So these rays will penetrate through the metals. In general, we are saying that metals are opaque, but metals are not opaque. It is transferred to high-end frequencies. We are familiar with the X-rays and gamma rays. It is passed through especially X-ray. There is one more non-destructive technique that is referred to the X-ray method. Their X-ray is used for detecting the internal cracks in the material. Like if there is any fracture in our bone, they'll go for X-ray. In the similar way, if there is an internal fracture or internal crack is present in the material, especially for a thick material, etc., in such cases, instead of you going for ultrasonic testing machine or your ultrasonic testing machine, there is a limitation for the depth of the crack. Even if you consider dye penetration test also, it is detect only the surface crack. Even magnetic particle testing, again, it will detect some subsurface crack as well as subsurface crack, but subsurface depth is maybe around few mm or maximum centimeter. But the thickness of the component, let it be around 10 centimeter. The crack is present at a depth of 4 centimeter or 5 centimeter. Your ultrasonic may work, but some your other NDT may not works. Like a DPT may not works, or your then magnetic particle testing may not work. In such cases, you have to go for X-ray non-destructive testing. Those are transparent to the X-ray. Metals are transparent, but metals may be opaque to the regular light. Now that's the same thing is given. Thus, metals are opaque to the visible light, not opaque to the X-rays or gamma rays. That's why X-rays are used for non-destructive testing. So now we are talking about the transparent material. We know the definition of transparent material: material that are capable of transmitting light with relatively little absorption and reflections are referred as transparent material. We cannot it is very difficult to have 100% transparent material. Some amount of incident light may absorbed by the material. Some amount of the incident light may be reflected at the interface or surface, but majority of the light will be transparent. Maybe transferred through the material. Then such type of materials are transparent material, like glass, regular glasses. Then there is one more type of material. These are the optical properties. You have the material. As a material science engineer or mechanical engineering, you are studying the different types of material. One of the materials is optical material. The optical material may be classified as the transparent material as well as opaque material. So metals that are impervious to the transmission of the visible lights are termed as the opaque material. So we are talking about impervious to the transmission of visible light, but it may yellow, X-ray rays or gamma rays, especially in the case of metals. These material absorb all energy from the light photon. We are talking about your incident light will be completely absorbed by the material. It is not transferred through the material. Those are the general properties you are familiar. What are opaque properties? What are transparent properties? So in general, we can write optical materials. There are two types of optical material. One is transparent optical material. One more is opaque materials. Then some of the optical properties, like your dielectric constant. The dielectric constant is very important, especially semiconductor industry, electronics industries, or electrical industries. You can say the dielectric material can store electrical charges, thus can develop an electrical field with minimum loss of energy. It's mainly used for storing the electrical energy, the dielectric field. And there is one more constant, that is also the dielectric constant. There is one more physical properties. The refractive index, we are familiar. Refractive index. How much amount of light is refracted to the material? It gives the information. Say that it is a measure of how the speed of the light changes as it travels from a vacuum to a material. The refractive index defines how much light is bent or refracted when passing into different medium. I think you might have conducted some experiment in your high school level or even PU level or engineering level. So when the light is passed to the beam of light is passed to some special crystals or optical material, the light is slightly bent, that we can observe. So that is nothing but a refraction phenomenon. So there is one more phenomenon, that is absorptivity of the material or absorption. So that means if you go according to the general definition, when a light beam is impinged or when light beam is passed on the material, impinges passed on the material surface, portion of the incident beam that is not reflected by the material is either absorbed or transmitted through the material. Some amount of material light beam or photons are absorbed by the material. Some material maybe some light rays may be reflected. Some light or photons may be transmitted to the material. There is a one more phenomena that is referred as emissivity. Even mechanical engineering, emissivity is also very important. So in general, I think you already studied about zeroth law of thermodynamics. So any material which the material is maintained above 0 Kelvin, absolute 0 or 0 Kelvin temperature, it has energy. It has thermal energy, heat energy. So that's why it is referred to all object at temperature above absolute 0 emit radiation. Any body which is maintained above 0 Kelvin, I'm not talking about the 0 Celsius. 0, even ice is imagine ice which is at minus 20 degree. Still it may emit the radiation. The emissivity is may be very less at minus 20 degree or minus 50 degree up to minus 277 degree. But emissivity at lower temperature may be less. As temperature increases, the emissivity becomes more and more. So that is referred as thermal radiation. It is indirectly measured the thermal radiation. The amount of thermal radiation emitted depends on emissivity of the object surface. And we have one more subject. There is a heat transfer. There are three modes of heat transfer, like conduction, convection, and radiation. There you are going to study in details about emissivity, how it. In general, we can say that emissivity is defined as the ratio of the energy radiated from a material surface to that of the radiated from a perfect emitter. Like a blackbird is the perfect emitter, so its emissivity is 1. It is a dimension number, so its value is 0 for perfect reflector. It is 1 for perfect emitter. Perfect emitter is nothing but a black body. So now emissivity of the surface is depending upon the type of the surface, whether highly finished or highly polished, or it may be rough surface. It also depending upon the temperature of the surface also, as well as wavelength of the incident light. It depends on so many other parameters. So now the knowledge of optical properties. The knowledge of optical properties is crucial in many industries. Now you're talking about application of the optical material here. So now some of the applications of the optical materials include contactless temperature measurement, heat transfer applications, and laser technology, optics, mirror, especially when you manufacturing of the mirror, lenses, optical windows. Optical windows are especially used in spacecrafts or aircrafts. Those things are very important, especially in the aircraft. And energy application, especially solar energy, they are used as reflectors. So what is the reflectivity? What is the absorptivity? What is the refraction? All those things are important when you're designing the solar system, or so when you're selecting the solar panel, manufacturing of the solar panel, which material you have to select for the manufacturing of the solar panel. So where optical properties are very, very important other than our mechanical properties. It is a photovoltaic industry, like most of the time it is a solar industry, solar power generation units. Even construction also. So nowadays it is not most of the buildings we have highly architected buildings. They have the front, there is a panels, the glass panels. So the reflectivity of those panels are very important. The absorptivity is also important. How much amount of light transmitted through those glass panels are very important. Nowadays, if the software industries are headquarters of the major software industries, not a regular structure. They are the huge structure, and along with lot of the glass panels, etc. In aerospace industries and other industries, it's very important. So when in general conclusion is the some of the optical properties of the material include emissivity, reflectivity, transmissivity, absorptivity. Those are the different. And when you're talking about in general, what material has the most favorable optical properties? We're talking about the glass is the most stable, and it is a glass scratch resistance. And from the beginning, from the 500 or 1000 years, they are using the glass material. So glass is more better than most of the materials. It may break, but we can change the property of the glass also. Even in the vehicle windows also there are glasses. Even aircraft windows there may be glasses, transparent glasses. Those things are not break. Even accident also happens. It will not break into two or pieces. It will be fractured into very finer and smaller pieces because it has undergone some process. One of the process is nothing but a heat treatment process. Like similar to the metals, we can heat treat the glasses also. So now let me can see that he can since brittle glasses generally it is a brittle material. Lenses are made up of glasses that must be tempered and heat treated to give them a more strength and make them safer to wear. Otherwise, if once lens falls, it may break also. Most of the time, it will not break because it is heat treated. So one of the heat treatment used for um, the glasses is tempering process. That tempering process we are going to discuss later. Even most of the solar industry, solar panel manufacturing industry, they have heat treatment furnace. They are heat treating the glasses also. Similar to the metal, it will pass through the heat treatment chamber. Once it is passed through the heat treatment chamber, the glasses become toughened. Even glasses are used for tabletop also. Tabletop, especially in offices, etc. So because those are the toughened glasses, unless and until it is not heat treated, then definitely it may break. Just if you keep around few kg of weight, it may break, but it will not break because already it is heat treated. So now optical properties may be include already were discussed. One of the properties polarization, and some missed property are nothing but photoluminescence or fluorescence. The fluorescence is very important, especially for TV screens, your laptop screens. They have fluorescence material. Most of the best example is phosphorus is the fluorescence material. The transmittance, the diffraction, dispersion, those are the other optical properties. The refraction already we have studied. So when undergo refraction, what will happen is speed of the light is reduced and beam of the light changes its direction. The, the reflection are already we are familiar. Some amount of light is reflected, some amount of light is absorbed, some amount of the light is transmitted to the material. Now, how much fraction of the light is reflected is nothing but your reflection. Then absorption, some amount of the material, the light photons may be absorbed by the material, that is nothing but absorption. And finally, reflection plus absorption plus transmission, that will become one. Thermal emission already was discussed, emissivity. So most of the time, this is a basic fundamentals. The previously we have discussed just general concept. Now what is happening? So when material is heated, it is given here. When a material is heated, electrons are excited to a higher energy level, generally in the outer energy levels, where the electrons are less strongly bound to the nucleus, because we are familiar with the valence bond, etc. Outer electron in the outer level have loosely bonded. So now, when these electrons, excited electron, upon returning back to the ground state or original state, release some photons. That is nothing but your thermal emission. In general, when the material is heated, so electron in the outer level, it goes to next higher level. When temperature decreases, this excited electron may return back to the ground state or original state. So then it is referred as thermal emission. It will light emit. Photoemissivity already we are familiar. So because for phenomena of emission of electron from a metal cathode, when exposed to light or any other radiation, then it will light, it emits light. Then you are talking about the fiber opticals, the fiber optic cables. I think that is Reliance Jio. They are putting huge amount. They are spending millions of rupees for fiber optics line, even including district level or taluk level for Jio network. It's a huge business value also. I think in general we have fiber optical material. Inside there is a core material. It is surrounded by some other insulating material like cladding materials are selected not only basis of the refractive indices but also depending upon manufacturability. The refractive index is one of the properties required from the optical fiber or optical material. When it comes to optical fiber, used in telecommunication industries. So we have to consider other properties also. The manufacturability, the light losses, how much amount of light is losses, and mechanical strength also. Dispersion properties. Mechanical strength means when you pull the wire during putting the wires underground, it should not break. So that's why mechanical properties also important. So over that fiber, we are putting a lot of mud or some other filling that. In those cases, it should not get damaged. So those things also very important. Because most of the time we are familiar in the Bangalore also, they are laying a lot of optical fiber in the roads with specialized machines. And when you come to this different types of optical fiber, one is high purity silica based glasses are used. So silica based glasses are the example for optical fibers with fiber diameter ranging from 5 to 100 micrometer. So 5 micrometer is nothing but how much 5 micrometer in can you, one of you can tell in terms of millimeter? 5 micrometer is equal to how many millimeters? 5 micrometer is equal to how many millimeters? The 5 divided by 1000. So you can imagine, no? 5 divided by 1000 mm. I think it comes from, I think some of you are already entered the answer. So that is 0.005 mm. You can imagine the fiber size. So you may imagine there is a challenging task for the mechanical engineering to produce. One is design will be taken care by the physicist or some other engineers. But finally, you have to produce the fiber of diameter 0.005 mm or sometimes lesser than that diameter of mm. We can imagine 0.1 mm, 0.1 mm, 1 mm. 1 mm we can imagine 0.1 mm, 1 mm divided by 10, 0.01 mm, that is 1 mm divided by 100. So 0.001 mm, that is 1 mm divided by 1000. You can imagine the size of that. So that manufacturing is also, we have the challenging task. Most of the time, it will be those materials are imported. So again, there should not be any flaws in the material during fabrication, during placing the fiber in the underground, or it may be in the overhead cables also. So that is a brief introduction about optical materials and optical fiber. Examination point of view. So example for the optical material. If it is just 5-mark question, few examples like a glass, ceramics, etc. And classification of the optical material, uses of the optical materials, and some brief introduction about optical fiber, its requirement. Then if they ask for the 8 marks or more or 10 marks, then you have to reach the optical properties. That is sufficient for 5 marks. If they ask for the 8 or the 10 marks, in such cases, you have to explain different optical properties. Otherwise, no need to explain different optical properties like a reflection, absorption, emissivity, etc. Those things will be in detail explanation required if they ask for the 8 to 10 marks. Otherwise, it is not required for 5 marks. In the most of the time, in module 5, it is easy to score also. You have to write a brief introduction. Most of the time, they'll ask for the short notes. Then you go for continuation of shape memory alloys. I am going to complete module 5 today. So yesterday we were discussing about shape memory alloys, piezoelectric material. Before going to discuss about shape memory alloys and piezoelectric material, I want to know, can you give some example for the piezoelectric material from your side? Yesterday already you have spent almost 1 hour. Few examples for piezoelectric material.
Quartz, sir.
Quartz is a naturally available piezoelectric material. Some others answer from others. What are artificially made piezoelectric materials? Then you are discuss about smart materials also, or some of the example for the quartz smart materials. Can you give? Just refresh. I'll spend around 5 minutes for what you had discussed yesterday. Just I'll go through the PPT. Then I'll continue with what is left out yesterday. I hope PPT is visible now. New PPT. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are discussing about the piezoelectric material yesterday. So there are man-made piezoelectric material. In the exemption point of view, I'm telling, other than knowing so many information, general information for the knowledge point of view, doing some projects or knowing some this where exactly those things are used. Most of the piezoelectric materials and most of the smart materials are used in IoTs. The IoTs, the basic foundation is on sensor technology. Even though you are talking about sensors, you are talking about all those things. India is not able to develop sensors, the high quality, high reliable sensor. You have to depend on US or UK. For the low, for some general applications, you are depending upon most of the sensor we are receiving from China. For aerospace application, spacecraft application, satellite application, so most of the sensors you are importing from US, UK, some other developed countries. Even some sensor you are talking about the piezoelectric materials. You are talking about piezoelectric materials are used in the accelerometer. So accelerometers are available from 50 rupees to 100 rupees. If it is used for aerospace and aerospace application, then same accelerometer may cost around 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs rupees, because high precision accelerometers are required, or high reliable accelerometers are required. If you mount some accelerometer in spacecrafts or satellite, if it is not working, then it may be total failure. So that's why, India is not able to develop the manufacturing technology for the sensors, or you are not able to export those sensors. So now these are some of the example. The barium titanate, lead zirconate, potassium neon, those are the different examples. I am not going to read those things. So, but in piezoelectric material can be broadly classified into crystalline material, the ceramic material, the polymeric piezoelectric material. Most of the time, polymeric piezoelectric material not belongs to crystalline material. The application already you are used, discussed. Actuators it is used. Ultrasonic transmitters are already it can be used. The microphones, the musical instruments, those are used. The naturally occurring crystals already discussed. One is quartz, one more is Rochelle is salt. It is earlier it was used in microphones, topaz. Those are the example. The man-made already we have discussed about different types of crystals that are not going to read those because already we have discussed. So PZT is mainly most of the piezoelectric commonly used piezoelectric material is PZT, the lead zirconate titanate. The lead is referred by P, zirconate is Z is for the zirconate, the titanate is for T. So because of lead, it has during manufacturing process, during production of the lead related piezoelectric material, there may be environmental issues, other issues. Then there are some lead-free piezoelectrics. So these like bismuth ferrite, sodium niobate, those are the lead-free piezoelectric material. Application of piezoelectric material may already have discussed. It may be used in most of the time. It is used in automotive application, especially new sensors used in automotives, automatic door closing or identifications if the door is not closed. Some other sensors, even aircraft, spacecraft, even information technology, are mainly deals with IoTs. Piezoelectric sensors, it may be used in microphones, sonar waves that already got discussed. These are the conversion. The once you say piezoelectric, so it is a property of the material. When mechanical load is applied, so it will convert into electrical signal. It vibrate, or if you supply electrical signal to the some crystal, it start vibrating. Or can in simple way, It will convert mechanical energy into electrical energy or electrical energy into mechanical energy. That's why it is used as a transducers. So these are some of the examples of conversion. One is piezoelectric properties. One more is reverse piezoelectric effect, like a mechanical to electrical conversion. Microphones, vibration sensors. Because once the material vibrates, it is a mechanical displacement. Strictly speaking, it is a mechanical displacement, a mechanical deformation that can be converted to electrical signal by using piezoelectric accelerometer or vibrometer or velocity meter or speedometer. Because you are going to study one subject, vibration. So there you are going to study and discuss about all those details. I am teaching advanced theory of vibration for MTech for machine design. There you are discussing most of vibration sensor, accelerometer, what type of vibration sensors are used, what is the reliability of those sensors, and what are the different manufacturing companies they are involved in manufacturing highly reliable sensors for especially in the aircraft industries and automotive industries. Then there is a reverse, the piezoelectric effect. It will convert electrical to mechanical conversion. Especially it is used in valves, already you have discussed, micro pumps, because finally there is a small movement of the piston, especially piston pumps. So those pumps are referred to the micro pumps. There is a displacement is very, very small. Like it is not like your internal combustion engine. The internal combustion engine displacement may be around half foot, or it may be around 6 centimeters, 6 to 8 centimeters. The finally it is expressed in terms of volume. So this is the diagram which shows how piezoelectric sensor works. Now, this piezoelectric effect works. Piezoelectric, you have mechanical deformation. So mechanical deformation, once material is subject to mechanical deformation, mechanical energy, so it is undergoes deformation. So because of the special characteristic of the piezoelectric material, it will convert into electrical signal. Then next is smart material. In general, smart means, so this smart material responds very well with respect to the stimulus. The stimulus may be temperature, it may be pressure, or it may be some other lights. So there's a stimulus. It will respond very fast. When metals cannot be these conventional metals like steel, aluminum also respond to the temperature. If temperature increases, it may undergo small, very, very small amount of deformation or expansion. That cannot be considered a smart material because the response is very, very small. But if you use nitinol, the special alloy developed by aerospace industries, if there is a small change in temperature, the deformation is very, very high. It may be around 5% deformation or 10% deformation. Those material can be used as a smart material. All material cannot be used as a smart material. So most of the time in the smart material, we have three process. One is sensing process. The sensed information is processed. Then finally, processed information is actuated, like a touch me not. I am giving an example. Smart material like a touch me not plant. It will senses the force. After when you touch, there's a small amount of force is applied on the leaves. So immediately it will senses. Internally, a lot of things are happening. It will send, then it will be processed. Then it will be suddenly closed. Like if you are touching some hot steel rod, it will senses your the skin will sense of the temperature. It goes to the brain. It will process the information suddenly without knowing us. We will retract our hands. The main application used in earthquakes. So mainly the smart materials are the material that can be significantly alter one or more of their inherent properties. Inherent property, you're talking about expansion, thermal expansion you're talking, the deformation, expansion and contraction. Even all material undergo expansion and contraction when it is subject to thermal loading. But there are few materials exclusively developed for smart material application where expansion or contraction is very, very high for small change in temperature. Such type of material only you can call it as a smart material. So it may be stimulus, maybe stresses or temperature, or it may be moisture. It may be stimulus, maybe change in value of pH, or it may be change in electrical field or change in magnetic field. So these things already, it may be used in structural application, especially earthquake resisting application, electrical material application, biocompatible material like biomimics. So smart material, so use of different technology is not only related to mechanical engineering technology. It uses the technology of all chemistry, physics, but even if you say that even mobile phone, they have developed some special screen guard, or it may be screen. So it is not only the electronics development. It may not be the only the computer science and IT development. But finally, they have developed there may be developed polymer, special type of polymers that are developed by the chemist or some other basic science engineering department. It is not maybe because of mechanical engineering or computer science engineering or electronics engineering. The most of the material side development will take place by chemistry, chemists, or physicists. So when you're talking about the types of smart material, it may be shape memory alloys. Piezoelectric material also comes under smart material. There is a magnetorestrictive material. So one of the property, already you have discussed about the piezoelectric material. Already you have discussed about shape memory alloys. So it will, shape memory alloys will remember the original shape of the material. Suppose you are heating the material, imagine material is room temperature. I give an example, material is bent by 30 degrees. Once it is heated, so it will expand. The bent angle may be increased to let it be around 60 degrees. Once it cools down, so it come back and the bent angle become only the original angle, that is 30 degrees. It will remember the angle or original size and shape. So once the stimulus is gone or temperature comes down in this case, it come back to the original shape and size. So that is nothing but a shape memory alloys. Piezoelectric material already we have discussed. Magnetostrictive materials are those material where whenever magnetic field is applied, some property will be changes. Like a fluid, magnetorheological fluid, MH fluid, I think MR fluid, it is normally referred as MR fluid. Whenever you are applied some magnetic field to the MR fluid, there are special type of fluid, the viscosity of the material may be changes. Viscosity may become more and more. Once viscosity become more and more, it loses the movement. So it will block somewhere. Imagine you want to control the flow. Imagine you have the flow control valve. Flow control valve is nothing but conventional. The tap is also example for the flow control valve. We can control the flow. We can reduce the flow rate, or we can increase to the maximum. We can increase to the maximum level. It can be increased to the maximum level. Those are the flow control valve. That's a mechanical, conventional core mechanical flow control valve. But we can have sophisticated core control flow control valve or automatic flow control valve. You have to apply magnetic field to the fluid, special fluid, not all water. So once the magnetic field is applied, the viscosity of the fluid will be changes. It becomes more and more viscous. So once it becomes more and more viscous, it will loses the flow. Flow characteristic totally changes. The fluid movement is totally stopped. That is nothing but a magnetorheological fluid. You are talking about the magnetoreological fluid. Magnetostrictive material is once material is applied magnetic field, so it undergoes small amount of deformation, expansion or contraction. We're talking about one is magnetorheological fluid. Those are the special type of fluid. Once magnetic field is applied, it's the viscosity and other property will be changes. Mainly we're talking about the viscosity. Once viscosity increases, the fluid will stop the fluid flow. That's a magnetorheological fluid. Magnetostrictive materials are most of the ferromagnetics comes under magnetostrictive material. When the electrical field is applied or magnetic field is applied, or when material is magnetized or demagnetized continuously, then it undergoes the small deformation, huge amount of deformation. Then one more is electrorheological fluid. Here, once material is fluid is when electrical field is passed through the fluid, its fluid property will be changes, including viscosity. That those fluids are referred as electrorheological fluid. Shape memory alloys already we have discussed. An alloy that remembered its original cold forged shape. With respect to mechanical, it is explained cold forged shape. By heating it, return back to the redeformed shape. Or we can say that SMS or material which can revert back to original shape and size. It is not. It is almost like your elasticity. Already you have defined elasticity property in the first model. So we have, once we apply the load, so it will material undergo deformation. Once it may be, deformation may be very, very small. Then if you remove the load, it come back to the original position. But when you're talking about the shape memorialized, the deformation is very, very huge. Then only we can consider those are the shape memorialized. We come back to original position once stimulus is removed. Example already we have discussed nitinol, like terphenol, different copper alloys. So then you are talking about the shape memory alloys. The shape memory alloys are nothing but how, when. So what is the fundamental behind the change in shape of the material? When it will expand, why it is expands, why it is contract. So there is no magic. So there is no magic here. We have there is a transformation. There is a one phase that is referred to the austenitic phase. In metals, the one more phase is referred to the martensite phase. So whenever it cools very fastly, imagine a material at red hot condition or room temperature, when it cools to very low temperature, so inside the material there may be change in properties. The change of phase, instead of in general, there is a, whenever there is a change in temperature, there are changes of the material property. It may be thermal property may be changes, or electrical property may be changes, its mechanical, magnetic property may be changes, its optical property also may changes. But you are talking about change in mechanical properties, you are talking about change in the microstructural properties, change in grain property, change in grain size may changes, the shape may be changes. Because of change in shape and size of the grain, so there may be expansion and contraction. Or so whenever there is a change in phase, we are familiar with the liquid phase to solid phase. So when there is a change in phase from liquid phase to the solid phase, there may be small contraction also. I think you may be familiar, especially the ice preparation, the ice also, there may be small contraction. But if there is a small contraction, that cannot be used as a shape memory alloy. If there is a huge contraction from one changing of one phase to the another phase, those property can be used for actuating application or sensor application. There are two phases. One is austenite phase and one more is martensite phase. So depending upon the temperature rise or lowering, it will move from austenite phase to martensite phase. During that, there is a huge amount of the structural changes or deformation, or there may be contraction or there may be expansion. Those contraction and expansions are used for opening as a sensors or opening and closing of some valves, etc. For details, I think what is phase, already you have discussed some portion of the phase. You are starting from the atom will join together, it forms unit cell will join together, it forms the grains will join together, it forms polycrystalline material or nothing but metals. So there are unique, in some region there are a unique type of grains. The group of the grains having unique properties, that is the phase. The group of the grain having unique properties. Finally, once you see through the microscope or through scanning electron microscope or high resolution microscope, we can see some grains are having some different physical properties. Especially you're talking about the colors, etc. So it may be very dark, it may be light. Based on that, we can decide. They have different phases, but still you can, at present you can imagine what is solid phase, liquid phase, and gaseous phase. We have studied all those things from the beginning, from during your high school level and engineering PUC level, even first year engineering level. Then you can identify what is gaseous phase, what is liquid phase, and what is solid phase. You can imagine. But when you come to your mechanical engineering, when you're talking about the material science, within the solid phase, within the solid, there are many phases. Those phases, one of the phases or one of the two phases are austenite phase and martensite phase. Whenever there is a change in phase, there may be huge deformation. So this is a shape memory effect. Now that we already, you have the original wire. Once wire is heated, it will be twisted. Once it come back to the room temperature, it will be aligned, it will regain its original shape. Imagine the wire is twisted here. We can, by using some arrangement, wire is twisted. So then afterwards it is placed in hot water. Once it is placed in hot water, it will undergo deformation. But once it is cooled down, it come back to the original shape. The original, it is totally having different twisting pattern. Once it is heated, it is slightly bent and twisting pattern will be changes. But once it is come back to the room temperature, cooled down to the original state, it will retain its original twisting pattern. That is nothing but a shape memory alloy. It will retains, or you can say that material remember the original shape. Once it come back to the original condition, it will revert back to the original shape and size. That is nothing but a shape memory effect. So these are the different shape memory alloys property. Don't worry about so many properties. Just shape memory having some physical properties, mechanical properties, super elastic properties. Super elasticity is there is not small elastic region. It has a huge elastic region, or there is a huge plastic deformation, not very small plastic region or elastic region. It may undergo plastic deformation also. And composition. These are some of the application. It may be used as a muzzle wire. So that means once the electricity is passed, material become hardened, it will pulls. So imagine you have the wire, shape memory alloy wire. So once electricity is passed, so it will contracts, the wire will contract. Like your electro materials, electro restrictive material, the wire will contracts. Whenever wire contract, this weight will be lifted. It goes up. So once electricity is switched off, it go back to the original position, or wire will regain its original length and original shape. In simple way, we can say that imagine wire is having 10 mm. Original wire length is 10 mm. I am applying electrical field to the wire, or I am passing electrical current to the wire. So wire length, instead of 10 mm, it will reduce to 8 mm whenever electricity is applied or electrical field is applied to the wire. So whenever it contracts, it pulls some wire. It pulls or it will pull the weight. So then when electrical field is removed, it goes back to the original length, that is 10 mm. Because of the 10 mm length, so weight will be lowered. Weight will be raised, weight will be lowered, depending upon whether there is a contraction in wire or expansion in the wire. This is simple. I'll put this PPT also for understanding. In the understanding purpose, knowledge point of view, I am putting this PPT in this Google Classroom. But examination point of view, I'll put notes in the handwritten notes. For examination point of view, you refer handwritten notes. For knowledge point, if you're really interested, you can go through this PPT also. This is a robotic hand. Again, it is based on your shape memory effect. Once electrical field is applied, so this wire will be contract. Suppose you have to hold some object. The basic, basic concept is you have to hold some object, you have to release the object. Imagine robotics hand is used for moving the object, collecting the object from one station, mechanical station, to the, and that particular object is dropped in another station. First, you have to pick the object. For picking the object, these wires should be contract. Then only our fingers will bend. Only whenever there's a contraction, finger will bend. That it is used for the picking purpose. So for dropping, the finger should be expanded. It becomes straight. So that is nothing but an expansion of the wire. To expand this wire, you have to remove the electrical field by switching on and switching off. So we can contract and expand, or we can close and open the robotic hand. There is a robotic hand it is not robotic hand and robotic grippers. It is not a small technology. I think you are familiar with the CMTI, Central Manufacturing Training Institute. So there are books of around the 100, not 100, around 500 to 1,000 page, around 25 years before only I seen those books on robotic gripper. Only they have complete information from what are the different mechanisms used in robotic gripper. Almost 25 years back only I referred. There are some books in some racks in CMT library. But at that time itself, it's a huge, highly developed technology, robotic hand, robotic gripper. Now they are using new technology, additional sensor other than original mechanical drive system. Mechanical, it may be hydraulically actuated or a fluid. It may be air operated, or it may be electrically operated. But along with that, now they are putting a lot of sensor technology, IoT. They are using AI, etc. But before 20 to 25 years before itself, there's a huge development in the robotic arm or robotic gripper. It is mainly used in automated industries. So piezoelectric material, you can see already we have studied about those. Reverse piezoelectric material. So once you apply electricity, it may be contracts. You can see here there's a contraction. There's one more. Magnetostrictive material. Once you apply magnetic field, the material may contract or expand. So these are some of the application of piezoelectric material. The vibration speaker technology, that's the old technology. Now they don't use this technology. There's a special technology. Those who are really interested, you can Google it and find out what is vibration speaker technology. Whether any products are available based on those technology, you can think. Magnetorheological fluid, already we have explained. So when you apply magnetic field into the fluid, special fluid, there's a rheological fluid, its property will be changes, and especially viscosity. So you can see here, magnetorheological fluid viscosity is changed. Because of the viscosity change in viscosity, it will control the valve itself. Either opening and closing of the valve can control. These are some of the application of magnetic. These are the smart materials, smart switches and actuators, safety devices, fuses, alarms, artificial limbs, blood vessels, adhesive tapes and bands. Food packing industry also they use this smart materials, smart spoons, smart nose and smart tongues, the smart cloths, that depending upon temperature, it will adapt itself. Even if you wear smart cloths also, cloths. During summer season, you may feel very cold, the very cool environment. During winter season, automatically it changes its properties. You may feel some more comfortable. Those clothes are comfortable during summer season also, winter season also. So we can see application of smart material. One of the application, imagine is a bulb. This wire is made of smart material. Once bulb is switched on, the wire is contracted. You can see here when because through wire electricity is passed. Whenever electricity is passed, this is the actual product developed by the smart material. I think one of the company or person is developed. So once light is switched on, so there may be contraction of the electrical wire. You can see here there's a twisting. So these are the nitinol wire. You can see it's a scale. It may be more than 2 mm, 2 meter diameter, 2 feet diameter. We can see this is a smart technology. So when light is switched off, it is simply hanging. The bulb is simply hanging. When light is switched on, the electrical field is passed through the electrical cable. Because of that, there is contraction. It pulls the light itself. It is a demonstration of that smart materials. It may be used in smart materials will be changes, allow the wings of the aircraft to change its shape depending upon the flying condition. There are a lot of work is going on in NASA, even most of the spacecraft aircraft industries, depending upon the wind speed and other surrounding parameter. So the whole wing shape may change, but it is not easy technology. A lot of work is going on. Even stealth bomber also, this technology is used, especially ferrofluid technologies are used. Even spoons, when the temperature is very high, no need to touch whether it is hot or cold. The spoon color may change also. That's a smart technology. That means if it is very hot, the spoon color may be red. It changes to original like a light color to some red color that indicate that the fluid is very hot or food is very hot. Those are the smart spoons. So smart nose and tongues, other than our nose may not be so sensitive. So then we can better to have, especially to detect some bombs, etc. Even dogs also use. Instead of using the dogs, we can use smart tongues and smart nose. So especially smart material react to changes its properties depending on temperature, chemicals, and magnetic field, electrical field. So these are already were discussed. Piezoelectric shape memory application already we have discussed. Thermochromic, smart memory, thermochromic, photochromic. That will finishes is the smart materials and optical materials. Okay, with this, I'll stop. Those who are not entered your USN number, enter your USN number very fastly because next session is going to, I think, going to start. So I'm going to stop recording. Those who are not entered your USN number, entered your USN number. Shashank case, before entering second times or third time, make sure that you are not entered your USN number before. Just by scrolling the chat box, we can find out whether you are entered or not. Every day I'm facing the problem with you. Minimum 3 to 4 times we entered your USN number. Okay, you require some safety measures, but before entering second time, make sure that you're not entered before. So okay, I'll stop.